Chapter 73. Fuck it. Summary. Ikea is now their home. Just kidding. But the gang is done wandering the halls and is ready to settle down and wait it out until the store opens again. After filling the provided blue Fructa bags with their desired haul of secret room goodies, the bags were covered in meme stickers which, according to the wall screen, would let them take the things in the bags for free. They finally made their way back into Ikea proper. And, Ochako mused, they were no closer to escape than before. They could keep endlessly traversing the literal moon-sized Ikea until the end of time and not find their way out. Luckily, Ikea would not be closed until the end of time. That's just bad for business. Once it opened, she was grabbing onto the first employee she saw and not letting go until they led them out. So, until then, they just needed to wait. But normal waiting was boring. They had a golden opportunity here, one none of the others seemed to have realized yet, too caught up in the prospects of escape. They had an entire Ikea to themselves, and they could do whatever they wanted. Ochako let out an exaggerated yawn. I'm getting pretty tired. Why don't we settle down for the night? She gazed around the bedroom area they had found themselves in. Got to have perfect timing if she wants even Katsuki to be on board with taking a break. Yes, please, Pyrepa said, looking dead on his feet. He immediately face-planted into the nearest bed, Fastel coming to sit next to him with a sigh. There would certainly be no arguing after that. No one would even dare think of it. Ochako had to repress a smirk. Now for the fun part. I don't think one bed is enough room. Why don't we push a couple together? She suggested, already moving towards her target. Good idea, Deku chirped. I'm sure there's plenty of blankets and pillows we can borrow too, as long as we put things back in the morning. Denki bounced on the balls of his feet. Maybe there's a blahaj pit around here. No way, Katsuki said, words leaving no room for argument. You idiots would get lost in a normal Ikea, let alone this monstrosity. Denki drooped, but Mei quickly swept in. What if we leave a trail of things to find our way back here? Hansel and Gretel style. Nice. Denki grinned. Katsuki thought for a second, but eventually relented. As long as it's not breadcrumbs. You move in pairs that do not include more than one of your little gremlin tech squad at once, and you keep your comms on. Deal. Denki grinned, swooping over to Ochako without hesitation. Let's find some stuffies. Soon enough, 4 beds had been pushed together to create a massive nest. Once again, the larger size of the average sentient was working in their favor. Duvets, sheets, and blankets, all pilfered from nearby donors, along with a spattering of stuffed animals. Some blankets hang from the rafters, cordoning off a little area, while strings of fake plants and fairy lights are suspended inside the border, lighting up the nest softly. They'd liberated the lights in the surrounding area to make it dark enough to sleep, leaving only a few until they decided it was really time. No one actually seemed ready for bed, just happy not to be wandering through the maze of halls into the heat death of the universe, which was all good for Ochako as she was able to live out her Ikea dreams. Who didn't want to raid an Ikea and make it the best fort in the universe? As of now, their fort was acceptable to her standards, so everyone was just hanging out and watching Deku and Katsuki see who could build an Ikea chair the fastest without instructions. There was a lot of screaming involved, but Ochako preferred it to the Ikea channel. Still, as she watched Deku looking baffled at his chair that had the legs on the wrong way around, she couldn't help as her thoughts drifted back to the topic of his father. Come on, brain. She should be able to just mindlessly laugh at her family being dumbasses instead of thinking about one of their evil sperm donors. Without that part of her brain asking whether or not she could really trust him. Without the part of her brain that couldn't help but draw parallels. But, she thinks with a smile, She's at least gotten to the point where she realizes that these thoughts are completely dumb and irrational. If Deku ended up trying to take over Japan, she'd be right there with him because he'd have a fucking good reason. Sure, he's been a little more feral since they left Earth, but aren't they all? He's still the same ball of sunshine as before. And hey, the sun may be bright and beautiful, but it is also fucking terrifying. It's a burning ball of gas that just hangs out in the void of space, spewing out tendrils of invisible destruction at random that would kill everything on Earth if not for its atmosphere. If you stare at it too long, you will literally go blind, and one day it will devour the Earth. Pretty accurate to Deku if you asked her. It'll take some time for her brain to fully catch up, but she'll get there. She owes Deku that much. The Ikea building contest ends abruptly when Katsuki explodes both his and Deku's chairs. With the end of their fun, they join everyone else in the temporary nest, flopping down on their backs in the middle. Denki's buried under a pile of blahaj. Fastel and Pyerpa are cuddled up together under a blanket. Mei is perched atop a pillow throne. Mina is splayed out like a starfish, and Ochako herself is sunk into the plush expanse, staring up at the softly twinkling lights. They're silent for a few minutes, just enjoying each other's presence. Deku is the one to break the quiet, speaking in a soft voice. Space isn't so bad. Space Ikea is amazing, Ochako added. We're literally lost in this Swedish nightmare maze. Katsuki scoffed. Ochako just wistfully sighed, leading to another scoff. I told you scatterbrained idiots to follow the arrows, but did you listen? No. Sorry, Baku babe. Mina frowned. Katsuki just scoffs again, turning his head away. Denki pokes his head out, blahaj nestled in his hair. You also told us not to stop on planets, yet that forest planet was really cool. I'm glad the moss is doing well. Deku cut in before Katsuki could say anything. But, Ochako hesitantly starts, that mission almost went bad. Really, really bad. How are we supposed to know that they had a mind-controlling ferret thing? Mina complained. It's not like we had the time to gather information, like Aizawa-sensei taught us. Still, Ochako's right. Deku sighed. Next time they call, I'll ask Aizawa for any tips. That mission really didn't go as smoothly as it should have. I know one thing that would have made it better. Mina smirked, poking at Katsuki. He glared. Sticking together like I said? She pouted. No, your hero name. I know you said you wanted Best Genius to hear it first, which is so cute, but it was kind of odd calling everyone else by their codenames while you were just Katsuki. Katsuki crossed his arms, looking straight at the ceiling like it had a death wish. The gremlin didn't have a code name. But she's like mission control. That's different, Denki pointed out. Mina nodded. Plus, I'm pretty sure she could come up with a name if we asked her. Isn't that right, Mei? I've never thought about it before. I've always wanted all of Japan to know my name, but I guess space is a different country, so I'm sure I can come up with a fake one. See? Mina said in a sing-song voice. Katsuki at last sighed in defeat. Fucking fine. I guess space just had to screw me over even more. It's great explosion murder god dynamite. There's a silence for a few seconds. Then Ochako speaks up. Honestly, that kind of fits with the whole pirate thing we're gonna do. Yeah, Mina says. Violent for a hero name, but perfect for space pirates. Katsuki gives her an offended, huh? But she continues. Too long to say every time, though. How about dynamite for short? Dynamite sounds great, Kachan, Deku chirps, the others quickly chiming in with their agreement. You can't just do that. It's my hero name, Katsuki barks. Kachan, Deku says, rolling over so we can face Katsuki next to him. Great explosion murder god dynamite is still your hero name, but it's just not practical to say in the field. Oyama had to shorten his name from I cannot stop twinkling to can't stop twinkling, and even that's a mouthful. So, is it okay with you? No one can resist his puppy eyes for long, and soon enough, Katsuki is giving in. Ochako giggles to herself as they settle in, snuggling deeper in the nest. At one point, Mei scurries out of their shelter to liberate the last of the light bulbs, plunging them into a comfortable darkness. Ochako falls asleep with a comfortable smile on her face, surrounded by family. Despite the sheer size of their nest, they somehow all managed to be pressed up against one another when they woke up. This proves inconvenient when an alien dressed in bright yellow brushes aside their tent walls, causing Denki to yelp and let out a small electric shock. Well, maybe not inconvenient, as the shock does a great job of waking Ochako up, ready to face any incoming threats. But as she looks closer, she sees that the forest green sentient, whose body seems to be made up as vines, is wearing an Ikea uniform. They were saved! Okay, time to turn on the waterworks, like they talked about last night, so they don't get in trouble. Predictably, it's Deku who goes first. "Are you here to help us?" he asks, voice innocent and eyes wide. "Help you?" the sentient asks, feminine voice laced with clear confusion. "What are you even doing here? The store's closed." "We got lost," Denki wails, a little overdramatic. "I thought we were gonna die here." The vine alien just looks at them, blinking in confusion. Katsuki glares. "So are you gonna show us the way out of this shitty place or not?"
Sure,
they say, stepping back away from the nest. The group scrambles out, Ochako going for their bag filled with human goodies, and definitely not anything else. Nope. Guess they won't have time to clean up. Oh well. They follow the sentient out of their dark little corner and back into the light of endless Ikea. Now that Ochako has a better look at the vine woman, she can see how tired she appears. Given that she works here in what has been described as a dystopian hell maze many times over their stay, the girl can't blame her. It doesn't actually take that long until Ochako can see the exit. The employee leads them through a complicated dance of twists and turns, but they actually made it. Then Ochako realized something. They didn't have a plant from here yet. She needed to keep their streak going. Looking around the facility, her eyes quickly settled on a small fake plant sitting on a desk of one of the displays. Ochako eyed the employee as she crept her way over. In one swift movement, the plant was hidden under her jacket. Mission accomplished. She slunk over to the rest of the group quickly as they stepped out into the wide open lobby. "Thank you so much," Deku said, bowing to the sentient. They just looked confused and tired. The group made their way out of Ikea at last and into the near-empty parking garage, which was surprisingly not a maze. They found their ship with ease and all piled inside. Tension seemed to drain from everyone once they were back in a familiar setting. Ochako set the blue Ikea bag down and whipped out the fake plant. "Look what I got," she smiled, holding it out. "You know that thing was bulging under your jacket, right?" Katsuki said blandly. "That employee was so tired, I could have had a whole fridge with me and she wouldn't have cared. As long as it was slightly hidden, she has plausible deniability for her not noticing, meaning she won't get in trouble, and that's all most retail employees care about." Denki slipped into the pilot seat, and Deku turned on the engines. Within a minute, their journey at Space Ikea was over.